Yo, every Wednesday night, you better tune in tight. At 7 p.m. CST, we bring in that insight. Halas Hall Report, best podcast in the game. Stats and facts, you'll remember the name. Host Ken Dub got the knowledge on lock. Co-host Woody the Bear fan, talking all that talk. 3 Bear fans chilling, opinions on the side. We're here for the love, riding that Bear pride. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the skies. Lions think they're fierce with Dan Campbell's call, but all that greed ain't gonna help them at all. Same old story, we know how it goes. They just can't compete, everybody knows. Minnesota Vikings always talking smack, but when it's game day, they ain't got the knack. Sitting on the couch while we're making a stand. Over here in Chi-Town, we're the best in the land. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the sky. Packer fans yell blow pack blow, but can't see the truth. We're stealing the show. Rivalry heated, but we stay real cool. Halas Hall Report, yeah, that's the rule. With every episode, we build that hype. Stats and team news, we got the right type. Fan base strong, we ain't looking back. 2025, it's a win and attack. So gather round fans, put your hands in the air. Every Wednesday night, we're breathing that bear. Join the revolution, watch the magic unfold. Halas Hall Report, we're breaking the mold. Halas Hall, we break it down right. Join us on the journey from day to night. Blue and orange army taking over the scene. 2025's the year, know what we mean. Bear fans unite, it's our time to rise. Sunday mornings, pre-game vibes in the sky. So mark your calendars, don't miss a beat. Every Wednesday night, Halas Hall can't be beat. Stats, facts, team news on deck. Halas Hall Report, what did you expect? 2025, the Bears are here to stay. Blue and orange in the north, leading the way.
Hello, welcome to Halas Hall Report. I am Woody. We don't know where Ken's at. He might be a little late. And Mike's in the background sharing our show. So OTA started this week. They say Caleb Williams had a couple impressive drives. First 94-yard drive last week and finished off the drive with a touchdown to the newcomer, Kyle Managi from Rutgers, the running back. So I did like that pick, and hopefully he works out and get that Nick Chubb rumor out of there. I don't want him. I like our running back room. Save the money where we really need it. We still need a defensive edge rusher. We only have 3. I think we need the 4th one in there. So anybody in the comments, shoot me some questions. It's not a lot going on, just OTAs this week for Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson saying the defense is doing good. He's holding everybody accountable. That's good. Hopefully he does that all year long. We'll see in the beginning of the season. So right off the bat, you guys are listening to me. I just want you to know that I want to hear what you're thinking the Bears before season record is, predictions. We talked about this last week. Went through the schedule. I think we're going to be 9-8. We have a chance to win 10 or 11 maybe. We play 10 playoff teams from last year. But there's always some games that we should have won, but we don't. So that's why I said 9-8. So what are your thoughts on that? And tell me your predictions. So yeah, just OTAs going on. Defense is doing pretty good. Caleb Williams doing pretty good. They're saying he's thrown a couple of touchdowns on the run. So that's pretty good because you need mobility out of the pocket as well. But the other big news is non-Chicago Bear and non-NFC North is Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what are your thoughts about that? The Steelers, they have Mason Rudolph and the young kid from Ohio State, Will Howard. So will Aaron Rodgers start as a Pittsburgh Steeler? And they do play the Green Bay Packers, I believe.
They play the whole NFC North.
Right. So I think the Steelers-Packers game, in my opinion, is going to be the most watched game ever. It's going to be very interesting, especially if he starts. So, Mike, what do you think? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to start this whole year, or you think Will Howard's going to beat him out?
I don't think he's going to beat him out. They brought Rodgers in to start. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they brought in Rodgers just to sit on the bench, and I don't think Rodgers would come and just sit on the bench. He's either playing or he's going to just retire. I don't think he's going to sign somewhere and be a backup somewhere. You know what I mean? Like with him in Green Bay, he was kind of like, I call him solo. He wasn't really a team player. He was more towards himself. Yeah, he had players that he liked and everything, you know what I mean? But every time somebody came in that was new and a rookie, he never really participated with them. You know what I mean? He always joined the team at the end, like, oh, where's Rodgers? Where's Rodgers? Where's Rodgers? And as soon as OTAs is basically up, there's Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to gel with his teammates.
Right. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, that game. So, Steelers are obviously a Pennsylvania team, so everybody knows how I feel about that. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of people watching that show or that game, guaranteed.
Well, Rodgers playing the whole NFC North. Not to mention, he's got to play Justin Fields now.
Right. Yep.
Twice.
Week 1 too.
Yeah, that's
and yeah, Bill said that's week 1 that they face off Steelers Jets.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the Packers. He beat all 32 teams, so he's got that mark.
So Rodgers has beaten all 32 teams?
No, not yet.
The Packers this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah, Mike, did you get a comment?
And I don't know where it is. Where it is?
Look on my profile page. Not my page, my profile. I shared this show, and
well, if you look at the top though, for some reason it's saying my page has got issues, but I'm live on my page right now.
Yeah, that's how I was just going.
I shared mine, and I'm not live on my page right now, on my profile.
You are on your page. Share your page to your profile. It's live on the Woody one.
And I see Ken talking on Huddle Sports Network 5 minutes ago. He's all by himself.
Because he probably added another stream. I'll be right back. I'll get it fixed.
All right.
Dude, he totally is.
So, yeah, anybody in the comments, shoot me some questions. And what do you think? You could say, what do you think the NFC North predictions are? And how do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do with Pittsburgh? Signed 1 year. So I don't know what's going on there. I think he signed for $18 million, I believe. Let me get that info for you. I'm sorry, 1 year, $13.65 million. So I just want to know, he's going there to start. All the Steelers has is Mason Rudolph and the newcomer Will Howard. And they open up with the Jets. So it's Aaron Rodgers versus Justin Fields. I think Aaron Rodgers, I mean, and AFC North has some, pretty good defenses. You got Myles Garrett, got the number one team or number one sack from last year.
He thinks it's Monday. He's in Ken and Ken studio.
No, I swore I set it up right, but oh well.
It's all good.
That's why Ken, you should let me do shit. You know what I'm saying? That was.
Hey, people make mistakes. I think it's funny, man. Like he had another studio open, but it wasn't Halas Hall. He was under Ken and Ken.
So Ken, I was just talking about the OTAs. It's no big deal, and I did post that Darnell Wright had a nice one-handed catch, which was like the crowd, the players were going nuts.
So I had Brent in the comments on the other line. I was simultaneously running, and he was saying the same thing as I was talking about the same thing as like, yeah, he's doing his best Odell Beckham Jr. there, man. And Brent commented on the other side on my folly, I guess. Ben Johnson, the trick plays, and really this isn't an indicator, but it's a indicator, right? I mean, I like that they're doing stuff like this because it lets them be loose, have a little fun. But then it lets Ben see, like, hey, who can actually catch the ball? Who can do some stuff? Caleb had a nice catch. Bagent had a nice catch. A couple guys had nice catches. I mean, could you see? I mean, we know Ben Johnson will make people eligible. So Darnell Wright running a 10-yard route for a touchdown, doing something like that, I mean, that will fire a team up.
Yeah, but usually offensive linemen's got like Butterfinger hands, you know what I mean? He jumped up like a receiver and did a 360 just to grab it like that. I probably couldn't even make that catch.
That's Odell Beckham Jr. right there. What are you talking about?
So Ken, the question is, do you think that's a play they're going to use? I mean, he was wide out there. Maybe they're just joking around there.
Yeah, I think they might do something like that at some point.
Ooh, Ben Johnson, boy. Hopefully he reports, though. That's the question. Remember that game against Dallas?
Yeah. Look, if Ben's going to do some stuff with this offense this year that we're not used to, of that I have no doubt. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of that stuff he's going to do.
I think it's going to be a lot of different stuff. The thing is that questions me is how are they going to execute the play call?
And what will they call it?
Well, let's not get into the whatchamacallit, Matt Nagy naming conventions, please.
That's what I was just gonna ask you. Remember the trick plays with Tariq Cohen and stuff like that, but never with an offensive lineman.
No, he did. Didn't he use one? He used offensive lineman. Santa Slay was an offensive lineman.
Wide out like that.
It was a cat. It was more like a tight end step, but yeah.
But anyway, that was a great catch. I mean, can he do that with somebody covering him? That's
actually on film. He was more. It might have been a tight end position, but he was definitely split out for sure, like a wide receiver, like Woody said, because he was literally beyond the slash.
And then that Ken, I started off with. I thought that they're saying that the OTAs, Caleb Williams had a couple of touchdown throws on the run, so that's good with the mobility. And
that during games last year, though. I mean, I love reporters during OTAs. Oh, look, Caleb's threw a nice strike on the run. Well, we saw that in the season last year. So that would have been like last year. Like, okay, cool, rookie. We know he can do it. Well, now we saw it in the game, right? So when they report that kind of stuff from camp, oh, he threw some nice balls on the run. Well, shit, we saw a lot of that. Like, look at the London game with that touchdown pass he threw on the run, right, in that game.
It was a holding call.
He can do that stuff. It's like, we know he can do that stuff. Like, tell me something I don't know. But the problem with OTAs and with camp is there's nothing. Look, the only reports I want to hear about OTA and camp is this: no one got injured. After that, all this other crap that these reporters are reporting, it's practice. Yeah, they're going to drop ball. Yeah,
You're talking about practice?
Yeah. It's like AI. Yeah, AI.
Yeah.
You're talking about practice, man.
No, AI doesn't drop it.
We need an AI clip to bring up anytime people talk about, did you hear about what happened to OTAs? You're talking about practice, man. I mean, I'm just happy they're out there practicing. They're learning the playbooks, right? They're installing the new offense, installing the new defense, installing the new culture, learning the way it's going to be under Ben Johnson. These are the things that I like to see. All this other crap, well, he got picked off twice or 3 times in practice. Yeah, in practice. That's cool.
I'm looking forward to when they have, I know it's still practice, when they go, because we're practicing with Buffalo and Miami.
See,
we'll start seeing stuff. Yeah, I like seeing. Then we'll see against other teams.
Still practice, but you're practicing against people not on your team,
right?
Where there's no real scripting. They're not. And look, at these guys aren't letting up. I mean, they're actually trying to figure you out. You're trying to figure them out a little bit. It's not like when you're practicing against your own defense, and you know what your defense looks like. Now look, not that Buffalo or Miami is going to run their scheme during practice with the Bears, but you're running against different skill sets, different types of players are on your squad. Yep. So there's a good thing and a bad thing about that, right, Woody? A good thing is if you're playing against a good defense at practice and they have a good defense and they got some good skill players, it could sharpen your skills. But if their defense is kind of sucky, you could look a little bit better than what you may really be and have a little bit of fake confidence going into your next, encounter.
Plus practicing against your own team, your defenders know the offensive plays. You tell me that the defense don't know the offensive plays, whatever. So these other teams we practice against don't know our offensive plays. And yes, you're right. It sharpens up the wide receivers and everything like that. So I agree with that.
I think it depends on the situation. Like you said, this year, it's a new culture. Can't say the word. Sorry. New play calling and everything else. It's a little different than our defense knowing what our offense is doing when it's new. They don't 100% know it yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. And then the other topic I was talking about, Ken, we'll go back to Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Is Karen Rodgers getting signed 1 year, $13.65 million with the Pittsburgh Steelers? What do you think?
Yeah, after watching the Red Zone, Green Bay Packers show this morning, it's refreshing to actually talk about the Bears, not just the Packers. Look, to me, I said this on the morning show with Rodgers going there. If Tomlin doesn't win a playoff game, he's fired. It's that simple. If Tomlin doesn't win a playoff game with Rodgers as his quarterback this year, that's 10 years of making the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, say they make the playoffs. They make the playoffs. Okay. They make the playoffs. If Rodgers goes in there and Tomlin goes in there and they don't win a playoff game, Tomlin's looking for a new job. That simple. It'll be a decade without a playoff win for them if it doesn't happen. I know some Steeler fans that were like, why did we do this? But he gives you a shot. He's not bad. He's better than probably most quarterbacks out there. He still had a decent to good year last year playing for the feckless Jets with terrible coaching, not a great O-line. He still put up decent numbers. Yes, there were some balls that we saw him throw. You're like, ooh, the arm strength or the plant wasn't there, right? Okay, so fine. Maybe his arm strength might drop a little bit, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. He still knows the game. He's still a smart quarterback. He's going to win them a couple extra games. And I think he's better than Russell Wilson was for them last year. I think they made a mistake giving up on Fields in a way. They should have just built around Fields. That would maybe give them a little bit more of a solid future. But now we're getting to see that experiment with the Jets. So what's going to be really interesting is week 1. It's Rodgers against the Jets. You know, I mean, it's the quarterback swap, and they want to meet up in week 1. That's what it is, right? Fields versus Rodgers week 1, Steelers, Jets. I mean, that's going to be fun. But yeah, for me, at the end of the day, for Pittsburgh, what this means is if you don't win a playoff game this year, you're done.
And I was saying that the Steelers-Packers game, I might be exaggerating, but I'm still thinking it. It's probably going to be the most watched game ever. Rodgers against Green Bay. Now, Green Bay, Bill just told me this, is that Green Bay is the only team that Aaron Rodgers hasn't beaten yet.
Because he hasn't played them ever.
Absolutely. So if he wins,
what a great stat line for Packer fans. That sounds like a Packer fan. Packer fans do this, man. I just watched the Packers show. I mean, Red Zone Rant, and it was like, and amidst the Packer love fest going on, like, oh, well, look at this stat. Rodgers has never beaten the Packers, so we're going to beat him. Well, it's because he's never played you.
Well, not just that, but Rodgers is like on the downfall. He's definitely not in his prime.
No.
Like his stats are nowhere near what it was. I mean, don't get me wrong, he got hurt. You know what I mean? But still, like,
I mean, it's just like a Packer thing to say. Oh, he's never beaten us. Well, he's never played against you.
But if he does win, then he beat all 32 teams.
Yeah, look, if Pittsburgh beats Green Bay, I'm just going to laugh and just be like, look, he's one and done. Who's your dad?
I think it's a win-win for Rodgers and Pittsburgh. Yeah, he signed for a cheaper deal, but I mean, he's getting all that guaranteed from the Jets, so he's still getting paid tons of money. You know what I mean? So it's really win-win. And this is the second time in a row the Steelers did it. Look what they did to trade and do what they did for Fields and Russ. You know what I mean?
They have found
that wasn't really a trade. That was just cheap signing.
They found a way to get cheap quarterback play though, like and get cheap quarterback play but to pay nothing, but they're getting good value, right? Because Fields was 4-2 for him. Russ, they paid him the league minimum. He performed a lot better than a league minimum player. Fields, who was 4-2, is much better than what a 6th-round draft pick would have been. And now for Rodgers, for basically backup money, they're going to get a starter who could help win them a couple extra games. So look, their defense is going to win them some games. Mm-hmm. And now you've got Rodgers, if he's 3/4 of what he was his last couple years in Green Bay, they're winning more games because of it. So plus you're playing the NFC North, and it's a division he has obvious familiarity with. And look, at Green Bay thinks, oh, well, dude, he knows your coach probably better than almost anyone on the planet.
Right.
Like, you don't think he's going to give an intel dump to his defensive coordinator about what, LaFleur likes to do, what his tendencies are, what kind of guy he is? And of course he is, because at the end of the day, he's a competitor and wants to win the game. So, I mean, it's a smart move for them, too, knowing that a quarter of your season is against the NFC North. And those are 4 very important games that, if you can win, let's say now 2 of them, whereas maybe before you won none or 1, that's a big impact, especially when you go to playoff seeding and everything else.
I just want to say one quick thing real quick. I don't have nothing about football. For some reason, I'm not getting any comments. Must be a StreamYard issue. So if you guys are throwing in comments and we're not seeing it, we're just not getting it. So I apologize. There's only one. We usually get quite a few comments, and we only got one.
Philip is in there on the Facebook. If you're on the X, you can comment from X. I see quite a few people from X. Definitely throw up your comments. Let us hear you.
So Ken, I got a question that's right off the bat. It might be out of my ass, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, over and under touchdown passes, 7. Over or under?
Ooh. Over.
I agree.
I
think he's going to do more like 10.
Wow.
10 or 11. I mean, it's DK. You know what I mean? It's basically like him and Adams. He's a big dude. Just throw it up.
In a 17-game season, I mean, yeah, I think you could reasonably expect that he's going to catch a touchdown in half the games. I mean, if you look at the weapons he has to go to, I mean, and DK is probably one of the most gifted athletes, physically on the field.
Yes,
Yep,
Brent.
Brent, I got you back, brother. Yeah, Brent was with me on the other live that I somehow set up wrong, but we won't talk about that at Sunday.
I thought you didn't miss me, Ken. That's why you did that.
I did miss you. I was like, where the hell is he? Brent and I were having a nice little conversation over there. But yeah, I mean, okay. Well, Phillips just threw a curveball on that, but Roger, yeah, I think he can. And he doesn't. I mean, even if he only plays 14, you're still going to get more. I think he's going to get more than 7 to DK. Because DK, you know what's going to happen? DK will break 1 or 2 that shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like there'll be like 5 or 6 where he's in the end zone and that's the design. But then there'll be a couple where DK just gets it and is able to make a touchdown to happen. And that people don't understand how big of a deal that is getting DK in there because DK is gifted as an athlete. So DK could really, take a 5-yard screen and turn into a 50-yard touchdown. That's in his wheelhouse. He can do that.
And we've seen him when he against the Cardinals, how he ran back and tackled the cornerback after that interception. So he for a big guy, he's pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, he can truck. He can move. So yeah, I think it's over. I mean, I get Phillip there, and can Rodgers be healthy? But yeah, I think Rodgers could be healthy.
Now
they've worked on their lines.
Now, Mike, since you have a computer or something, what was the first year that Aaron Rodgers played with Devontae Adams? The very first year, how many touchdown passes did he throw to Devontae? Because I think I'd take DK Metcalf every day of the week and twice on Sunday over Devontae Adams. Just me. Plus, I just heard Pittsburgh lost their backup tight end for the year for torn ACL. So they are going after, the rumor is Juno Smith out of Miami. So now they're going to have that, if they sign him, have that 2 tight end set up there.
Well, and I mean, Woody, would you think that I would say the Steelers' offensive line is probably better than what the Jets had as well?
Yeah.
They don't have the running game. They don't have the running game the Jets had, though.
Right. Yeah. Bryce Hall. Yep.
But they do have a better O-line, which is what I really would care about as far as keeping Rodgers on his feet. Maybe they find they've drafted some running backs. Maybe they find a running game. Because as we see in this league, really, the carryover from year to year is hit or miss on whether these guys stay good. And it seems like you bring these rookies up every year. There's 2 or 3. So the important part for them, I think, is just that for Rodgers, is that he has a better O-line in Pittsburgh than he did in New York.
And another rumor is that Wilson, the wide receiver for the Jets, is visiting Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah, there's going to be all this, who's going to follow Rodgers stuff, and would the Jets really make the trade, and what would the Steelers have to give up, and I mean, look, that's the one part about all this stuff that I just kind of get tired of. It's like at some point, some GMs will be like, stop, and I think it happens with this. I don't think any of the Jets guys are bailing on the Jets because Rodgers left. I mean, they bring in Justin. They bring in a new head coach. The only way I see guys bouncing is if they don't like AG. Oh, I don't think I'm going to like AG as a head coach. I'm going to get out of here. Okay, that makes sense. I don't think anyone's leaving because, I want to go play with Aaron in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, Pittsburgh has to be willing to trade for you, give up capital for you on what is basically a 1-year rental. So, that'd be different if this were 5 years ago and you were signing Rodgers to a 4-year extension. Dude, you're signing to a 1-year deal. So why am I going to go trade for players I'm now going to be stuck with for 2 or 3 years and have to pay a lot of money for my 1-year rental quarterback?
Now, since Aaron signed 1 year and he does mediocre and they don't get re-signed, does he retire?
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. If let's say it goes that way, let's say they go one and done in the playoff, I could see Aaron retiring.
Mhm.
I mean, I think at that point there's regime change happening in Pittsburgh anyways, and he might just hang it up. I wouldn't blame him if he did. I wouldn't blame him if he kept playing, though, to be honest with you.
Because I know Pittsburgh's big on this Will Howard quarterback.
Yeah, at some point they're going to have to let him go. I mean, at some point, but I don't know what that point is. It's going to be fun when we play him. I know Packer fans will be talking all their trash that week, as they always do, but that should be a fun game. I'm more worried about T.J. Watt in that game than I am Aaron.
Oh, man. Wow.
But, I mean, it's going to make for some interesting content, with some of these teams when Aaron's playing the North again. But it took Pittsburgh, a team that was probably, you looked at them before that and said, well, maybe they win 5 or 6 games, maybe 7 or 8 on a good day, because they do have a good defense, but they're really not going to threaten for that division. And now you have to say, well, they're going to threaten for that division. I mean, they have a solid quarterback. And some Packer fans are pretty honest about it, and some are like, aren't. They're like, oh, he's washed up, he's done, he's not going to do anything, he's not a Packer, blah, blah, blah. I mean, look, I think he's going to be good for them. I think he's going to win them extra games. I think he now helps them threaten to overtake Baltimore for the division in that over there. I mean, because they have, the thing is, not like it's like, it's not like he's walking into the Jets, right? They've got a solid coaching team that's been there forever, at least from the head coach and some parts of their team. They've had some, obviously, other coaches come and go, but the core is there. They have probably one of the best defensive players in the game in T.J. Watt. They have a solid defense, a defense that really kept them in a lot of games last year. Justin Fields went 4-2 there last year. You're telling me Aaron Rodgers can't replicate that or better? So if you're telling me no, then you're also telling me that Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think anyone's going to say that. So yeah, I think they threaten, and we know how divisions go. Like any given Sunday is the truth when it comes to division football. The Browns can be the worst team in the NFL and then come up and beat you in the division because it's the division game. So they're dangerous now over there. I mean, that is the big news of last week. It doesn't necessarily affect the Bears except for one game. And that's it. So do you know if they find a place to play?
Probably means their stadium.
The stadium, if you're talking, the new stadium, the follow-up. Yeah, so talked about that Wednesday a little bit. It's looking more and more like Arlington is going to be the place. Look at the city of Chicago. God, they've been given so many opportunities by this team. And I think they're at the point they're like, we just can't wait in the city in the state anymore. We just got to go.
Until they break ground, I'll believe it, bud.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. But I mean, they've given the city so many freaking options, right? The city hasn't really done anything. And the state is like, well, we don't care. We're not gonna put any money towards it, right? Pritzker's like, F the Bears. We're not putting any money towards the stadium in the city at all. So good luck with that. And then in the flip, you got Arlington Heights saying, hey, what can we do for you? How can we make this happen? Oh, and you own the land, and you've owned the land for over 2 years. Do what you want, man. Just let us know what you need. I mean, and the Bears got to be thinking like, okay, look, we don't want to stay in Soldier Field at 2030. It's already 2025. If we can break ground this summer, maybe by 2027 season, we're in the new stadium. But you don't think, I think they want to be in the new stadium before 28 or 29. Definitely don't want to run their whole contract at Soldier because they're losing money. Right now, they're losing money. They're paying property taxes on land that they own for the last 2 years that they haven't done anything with, and they need to do something. I think we'll get an announcement before camp, especially if the Illinois legislature comes back into session and does nothing to help the city of Chicago build a stadium on the lakefront. Especially, so you're talking like by end of June, mid-July, if nothing's happened, I think sometime during camp they're gonna break ground in Arlington Heights.
Yep, that's when I'll start believing it.
I can see that more of a possibility though now, Woody, than before, because I know you had that guy come to the dealership who worked that. But I mean, that granted, that was like what 4 or 5 months ago, and obviously it's a very fluid situation. But I could understand why he said that and why people were saying. I mean, because the Bears have given the city every opportunity to keep a stadium downtown, right? I mean, really, if I were the Bears, the second I bought the property, I would be like, all right, I'm building my stadium here. You know what I'm saying? But give the Bears some credit. They gave the city of Chicago ample opportunity to build the stadium downtown. I mean, it's been 2 years since they bought that property, man. This drama has been going on for 2 years. I mean, think about it, Woody. If you bought a piece of property, how long are you going to wait to build on it? If you buy a piece of property because I want to build a new house and but you're like, well, I want to give my old neighborhood a chance. How long are you giving them a chance before you finally build on your new property?
Yeah, not long. Not 2 years.
Yeah. So credit to the Bears. I got to give the Bears credit for giving the city every opportunity. So when the team does eventually build in Arlington, I don't think anyone should be complaining about the Bears or be upset with the Bears. If you're going to be upset with anyone if the Bears move to Arlington and you're one of those people who says, oh my God, I can't believe they left the city. Don't blame the Bears, blame the city and blame Pritzker.
Yeah, but there's a lot more to it than if me, Woody, or Ken bought a property, because we're building a house. You're literally building a mini city pretty much, because I think they're going to do more what Lambeau Field did with like the stuff they did on the outside and the condos, stuff like that. I believe they're going to do something like that. The land's big, so there's a lot more politics and money and organization that goes through it than just a one building.
Well, yes and no, Mike. I mean, that's true for Arlington, but the downtown, that's not true. The downtown, it's literally going to be the new stadium, the facade of the old stadium, and now that's going to be a big giant park with the facade. Remember, because the facade is protected, right? It's a protected building. So if you look at what they were showing, there wasn't going to be no football village, if you will, or extra shops or condos or any of that. It's going to be underground parking, a big, huge park where Soldier Field used to be because they can't touch the building. I mean, they can take the spaceship out, leave the facade, turn it all into a nice big grass park in the new stadium. But you're right, with Arlington Heights, it's a mini city. It's a big piece of land. It's about the same size. It's literally about the exact same size of what SoFi is built on, because that was Balmoral racetrack. It's about the same size of where Arlington is. But I think the plans that Chicago had, unlike SoFi, is they want to add more shopping. They wanted to put maybe some condos or apartments or stuff like that closer to that in that area.
Well, the biggest picture of the deal is Chicago and the McCaskey families will have all the say-so instead of the Park District making all the calls, and you got to go through the Park District, and they only get a piece. You know what I mean? They're only getting a piece in Chicago. If they go to Arlington, they're getting half a pizza at least. You know what I mean?
That's another part of the argument, Mike, is that if you go to the city of Chicago and you build on the lakefront, now you're beholden to the city of Chicago's city council and to the Park District. And hell, the Park District proved last year they came and keep the groundskeeping equipment safe from being stolen. Because remember, they stole it was all stolen. Every year, Soldier Field is known to be one of the best or one of the worst playing surfaces in the NFL because the city of Chicago can't maintain the field, and they refuse to spend the money to properly do it as cheaply as they can because you're talking about city money, and they want to spend their money on other things like hotels for illegal immigrants and whatever else they want to do there. So the football field is the last thing that they're going to put money to. I mean,
Mike,
honestly,
and I asked Ken this before. If they do build a field on Arlington Heights, will they name it the Virginia McCaskey Field?
I think they do.
I think it's going to be after Virginia. I think they're going to name it after. I don't think specifically say Virginia, but the McCaskies for sure.
Well, here's the other thing too, with the differences between downtown and Arlington. So not only if you build in Arlington, you own it, you're the one who's going to be taking care of that playing surface. Even though it's domed, we're going to assume it's going to be natural grass because that's what they're doing in these dome stadiums now, right? Is natural grass to kind of get away from the turf. But now, not only do you control that aspect of it, you're not beholden to the city and how they don't want to spend money on you. But now you can make money because you're going to host NCAA Final Fours. You're going to host, WrestleMania. You're going to have concerts. You're going to have all kinds of other stuff in that venue that now you're going to make money off of, not the city of Chicago. You're going to have the shops that you're going to charge rent for. You're going to have all kinds of other cash revenue systems in place there that you don't have in downtown. And yet the Bears, knowing that they got this big pile of money they can be making by building in Arlington, have continually given the city of Chicago every opportunity to do right by the team and to build a stadium on the lakefront. That speaks volumes to me about this Bears organization.
We'll see.
I mean, here's the other thing.
I just don't think there's enough room there. It's gonna be tight, like sardines in a can.
Oh,
and where you're gonna park and like.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%, Mike. Agree with you 100%. They're gonna
Don't get me wrong. I like Chicago. I've been to a lot of games. You know what I mean? But
me too.
they're only limited to the space that they have. You ain't got no space. You can't do what you want to do.
Mike, I don't like sardines either, so don't say that.
Me neither. I was just saying it's tight.
To build that stadium, they're taking the parking lots from McCormick Place, right? And that's where they're going to build the stadium, pushing all that parking underground. So you're going to have to park underneath the stadium, basically, or park underneath the beam in Millennium Park and shuttle bus in. It's not like. And what you'll find out when you go there, I mean, you're staying close, but the hotels, while they're walking distance, they're really not walking distance. They are, but they're not, right? It's kind of, you got you go underneath LSD, but it's not the best.
Oh, I don't. LSD they have there too? Nice.
Yeah, Lakeshore Drive. Yeah.
I'll take that before the tailgate.
But I mean, the other thing about Arlington, it's closer to the airport. It's closer to the practice facilities and Halas Hall. It's closer to where the players live. It's closer to where 80% of the season ticket holders live because they all live in the Northwest Burbs. 80% of their season ticket holders are in the Northwest Burbs. So, I mean, there's so many upsides and pluses. And I remember when on this show, when they first bought, all of us were like, we were like, wow, look at all the pluses here for going to Arlington. And yet they still haven't done it because they kept trying to give the city the opportunity for the optics of having that stadium on the lakefront in the city. When really feels to me 2 years ago, I'm not even like deuces. Hey, Arlington, let's go. Have to give them credit for giving the city every opportunity. But Mike, there's another piece to it too, and that is look like coming from Rockford, guys like you and Bill. If you're coming from Rockford, it's going to be an easier drive for you. There are more places for you to stay closer to the game. You can still Metro train in. You're not paying as many tolls. I mean, and you can still, if you guys still want to go down and part around the city, you're still going to see the city skyline from the stadium. You're not that far from downtown. I don't see any negatives at Arlington Heights. I don't see any.
So what would they do with Soldier Field then?
Bears, I don't know. What would the city do with it? They would probably still try to host things there. They wouldn't tear it down or anything. They would probably keep it as is and maybe try to host some Big Ten football games there, do some concerts there. It'll still be a good open air venue. It just won't be for the NFL football. Maybe they try to woo another NFL team there from the AFC. There was a rumor last year about Cincinnati possibly moving there, if that were to happen, but I don't think the Bengals leave Cincinnati. And if I were the Bengals, why would I move from Cincinnati to move to Soldier Field? I'd want a new stadium.
Remember, I don't know if you heard this a couple of years ago, there the rumor that they might be 2 Chicago teams.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it would have to be an AFC team probably, but like if you're moving from another city, or would you really want to play in an old stadium when you could probably go get a new one somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the city of Chicago will still own and operate Soldier Field. I don't know what they'll do with it, because even the Chicago Fire are building a new stadium in the city, so they won't be using Soldier Field anymore for soccer games. You can use it for World Cup games if you got any games coming, but I don't think Chicago has any this time. You could use it for U.S. men's, U.S. women's national team soccer games and events like that. I'm sure they'll host them there. It's still seats 60,000 on grass. I mean, that's good for a national team game. They could do rugby. I don't know, but they'll still do events there, but it won't be NFL football.
So you're telling me they moved the Walter Payton statue, and doesn't have a Payton statue there?
That's a good question. I don't know who owns it, the city of Chicago or the team. If the city of Chicago owns it, then the team just makes a new one and puts it out in front of the new stadium. I wouldn't be against leaving that statue at the old stadium, because that's the house he played in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's historical significance there, and then just doing something new at the new stadium.
Interesting to see.
Yeah, it is a historical landmark. It's protected. It's a protected national landmark, Soldier Field. So the columns at base, the columns will never go away. Nationally protected. Will they do anything to the rest of the stadium? If the Bears move to Arlington, no, I don't think they do. But I think they'll try to use it for other things. Maybe get a UFL team in there, if not an NFL team. Host, maybe play some Big Ten college football there. Have Northwestern play U of I there or something, for like those kinds of games, or something like that. Maybe Northwestern moves in. I don't know. I don't think they would, but who knows? State championship football games could be there now, stuff like that.
I would think maybe I would thought they would turn it into a museum or something.
It kind of already is on the inside. Yeah. You'll see what I mean when you go. It kind of already is a museum on the inside to a degree. They got this one mural on one of the walls. It's got every player who's ever played for the Bears, where they played for one game or 50. And every player by year, it has, the new guys, what I'm saying? So everyone who's ever worn a Bears uniform is on this mural. It's pretty cool. They got some pretty cool historical stuff in there.
Now, they give tours there?
I don't think so. I'm sure they probably do. I've never done.
I like to do a tour before the game, like the day before the game or something.
Soldier Field tours, I've never seen that. But it's another revenue thing, so I'm sure they do.
I don't know. I don't think they really do, to be honest with you.
Okay. I know Yankee Stadium they do.
Yeah. I've done that tour. Fenway does it. Does it.
I've been saying for years they need to. You know what I mean? Because Lambeau does it.
Yeah, it's another revenue stream.
Well, it's cool too. They literally tell you the insights, more depth, and stuff you didn't know. You know what I mean? Plus, you get to walk through the tunnel and box seats. Not quite the locker room, but
I know because my friend John, and he just lost his dad this week, so prayers out to him and his family. He's friends with the Rams manager or president, so he gets 4 free tickets a home game each year. So he goes out 4 times, and every time I see his pictures, he's walking around with other people. It's like they're doing a tour of that SoFi Stadium and stuff like that. So
I know like some stadiums you do the locker room. Like I did the Yankee Stadium one. For that one, that's like you didn't. Allianz Arena, when I did the Bayern Munich one, they do. Fenway, you can go. They take you to the locker room. If it's a non-game day, usually you can go to they usually go to the locker room. If you're doing one of those game day tours in conjunction with going to a game, usually that's when you don't get to go to the locker room. But I think most of them you get to see. I mean, you see the press area, you see Yankee Stadium was cool. They even let you go on the field.
Yep.
They do tours on
Around
game
the
day?
edges. Yeah, around the edges.
I don't know how they can plan to
For
do that.
Bayern Munich, when I went to the game in Munich, it was a game day tour. The game was at 7. We got there at 11:30 in the morning. The tour started at noon, and we stayed in the stadium. Or the game was at 6:30 or 7. We stayed in the stadium until the game was over. But they bring you in when you're starting a tour. There's no one from the teams. Or those guys show up like 2-3 hours before the game usually. So you toured the stadium before the game. We went up on the pitch, to the entry ramp. They do the whole shebang. The only thing we didn't do on that tour, because it was a match day, was go to the locker room. But normally, it was a non-match day, you'd go to the locker room. But yeah,
I'll have to call and see if they have anything. Because I know we have 7 hours before we can check into our hotel. So I want to do some
exploring,
walking around, exploring and stuff. So, and we're
Go get-
only mile from the stadium.
go get
Congress
Ed
Hotel.
DeBevick's. Go get
What's
some
that?
Ed DeBevick's. Go to Ed DeBevick's. Have a rude waitress talk to you. That's a fun place. And their 6-way chili is really good.
Woo!
Shout out to Ed DeBevick's. Yeah, it's a good place. Or definitely get you some good food while you're there. But I don't know if they do a stadium tour though. I've never. Yeah, I've been all over that stadium. I've been on the field at Soldier Field back when it was turf. Actually played on that field. We played a soccer game there.
I'll even do like if they do boat tours, like, because I know there's water and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got boat tours. You can look at there's all kinds. You can do some. They have horse carriage tours that you can take Jody on, like to do the Mag Mile and all that.
No, just me.
Oh, Jody's not coming with you.
Yeah, she is.
Oh well, do the horse tour with Jody. You guys will like that, and you'll learn a lot of
Horse tour?
It's a carriage. You're on a horse carriage.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But you get a lot. You'll get a lot of city history there.
Right.
Yeah, there's all kinds of tours to be had in Chicago.
Yep.
You'll have no problem killing those 7 hours. I just don't know if they do a tour of the stadium. So Clark, I hope that answered your question on the stadium. And I honestly don't know why it's taken so long for them to just say, we're building in Arlington. I think they've given the city more than enough opportunity, and the state. They've given the city and the state more than enough opportunity to keep that stadium downtown Chicago. Arlington Heights is on board. They had that snafu because the city of Chicago engineered the snafu with taxes and all that. But now they said, forget that. I just think it's a matter of time. And I think it's going to happen this summer, where they're going to say, look, we need to get moving on this. And they're going to break ground this summer, early fall. I just don't see us playing a complete season and us still not having a groundbreaking ceremony at some point for a stadium at one location or the other. I can't see this going on for another season.
So what do you think? What if for example, what if that happens?
The problem, if it happens, here's what the narrative is. Well, the Bears are just an organization that can't figure anything out, blah, blah, blah. That's what the narrative will be. I think it's more the Bears are going to keep giving – at that point, it's like stop giving the city an opportunity. You've given them – at that point, it'll be like 3 years, right? You'll give them 3 years of opportunities. And for 3 years, they've told you no. It's like asking the hot girl in high school to go to the prom with you, and she says no 50 times, and the night of the prom, you're still saying, well, she's going to say yes. No, she isn't. She's going with someone else.
Yeah, I never had that happen. No.
You had it happen every week. We know it.
No.
You married up with Jody. She took pity on your soul.
Wow.
Yeah, you like that? Giving Jody the props there. We all did. But no, but that's what it's like, though. You know what I mean? It's like at some point the Bears just got to go, look, the city and the state aren't going to do what needs to be done. They don't care about having a stadium. It doesn't fit their political agenda because of their politics now is what gets in the way. They're political, we don't get political on these shows, but at the end of the day, that's part of the problem with Chicago is the politics it's all this piece is political. And they don't want to spend money on a stadium because it affects their other political agendas. And for them, spending money on a stadium does not fit what they want to do because if you look at the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois and what they're spending money on, how much money are they spending on illegal immigrants in the city limits or in the state right now? How much money are they spending on other projects that most citizens would be like, yeah, okay, but where they could divert some of that money to build a stadium, but they're not. They'd rather put the money on those things and fight President Trump and fight Republicans and fight American citizens, whatever, than give the fans what they want, a new stadium. That's more important to them. That's fine. That's their political preference. I'm not going to say that's on them. If that's your political preference, good. That you're welcome to it. You have the right to have that. But the problem is this: the team doesn't care. They want a new stadium to put their product on to entertain the citizens of the city of Chicago. And if the government is not going to give them what is required to do that, then they're going to go to where they can get that. And that is Arlington Heights, where also they own the land, will be their own landlords, and be beholden not to the city of Chicago Park District, not be held at gunpoint because we don't want to spend the money on turf because we want to spend it on, fixing Obama's presidential library. They control their destiny, and they'll make all the money they need to do it themselves. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So I hope Woody does not go another season, and if it does, all right, guys, stop. She's not going out with you.
I just want to stop talking about it. I want to get done or not.
Yeah.
Tired
look,
of it.
at least it's better than, on one level, it's better than talking about all the clickbait out there and how, and doing all the trash talk about how great some teams are and not so great others are. And it's an actual football topic we can talk about that affects our team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for that, but I wish they would I'd much rather be talking about the progress of the new stadium versus when are they going to break ground 2 years later.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, can you see? What do you think? I mean, what do you think? Do you think they break ground before the season's over?
No, my opinion. That's just me. Nope.
So you think they're going to keep giving the city a shot and a shot? At what point do you think they finally say, we're going to build it in Arlington?
After the season. I think they're going to make a decision after the season.
So if it goes the full season without the city or state coming up with what is needed, I hope they don't go that long.
Do we think it was going to take this long?
Because they'll do a groundbreaking ceremony in January or February, and then they can't do anything for 3 or 4 months. If they at least do it now, they can start construction today. Because remember, they got to tear down and do all the other stuff. But I would like to see it sooner rather than later.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, I'm being told by Mike the Bear fan, our producer, we have a minute left. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. Thank you for the comments. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, Ken in the morning, 10 a.m. Central. We'll be back here Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Hopefully with some more Bears talk. We still have to talk about maybe adding some more players to this roster with the close to $15 million salary cap we have. So keep an eye on that. We'll see if anything else happens this year with signing players in the league. The Aaron Rodgers news did affect the Bears some, but we didn't really get too much in that. Maybe we'll break that down a little bit more next Wednesday. And of course, I won't set up two different a show on the wrong channel like I did this morning. Everyone, Woody, I'll give you the last word for me. Bear down, everyone. Have a great week. And Woody.